I never felt confused about Nola's gender. I was never like, this is a phase, Nola will grow out of it and like be a woman. Like Nola never felt like my twin sister. Like people can still tell we look alike. So when they see us, they're like, oh, like identical twin sisters. You know, and that's rough.
Okay, so can you begin by talking about how you feel right now?
I feel a little shaky. Fidgety and like on the verge of dissociation.
So can you talk about what your style says about you?
There's a picture of me when I was like 6 years old. I wore all boys' clothes. I mean, when I was like a year and a half, I started wearing like boys' underwear. I understood that we presented in very different ways. I knew that I didn't want to wear boys' underwear. I knew that I wanted to wear pink nighties, and I knew that I wanted to have long hair, and I knew that Nola didn't. We got family pictures taken, my mom and all the kids, in this like nice photo studio. We were all wearing pajamas, and they gave me like a tank top to wear, and the tank top had like a bow, like a tiny, tiny bow. And I just remember like physiologically, like the feeling it gave me, I had to have it taken off. You know, we were twins, so I'd be like, oh, do you want to be flower girls for a wedding? I was like, yeah, no problem. Like, but I'm wearing a tuxedo. It's probably my mom. Kind of trying to break it down for me and explain to me why like I couldn't wear a tuxedo. I mean, it's just like a montage of like a dozen weddings where Nola, like we're late. My mom drives away. Like we don't know how we're getting to the wedding. Like, Nola's screaming. Somehow we'd all end up at the wedding, right? But Nola would be totally exhausted. It's just like a severing of like a self, I think. Erasing, like you can't be this. But then what can I be? They'd show up to the weddings like in some dress with just puffy red eyes, you know, just like surrendering to this like world that we lived in. Okay, fine, like, I'm here. Like, is everyone happy? Before that, that's when like I had kind of a childhood. And then after that, I feel like it was just like I was very consumed with anxiety, terror. I would try to forget, and then we would just be together and we would be having fun again. And then something would happen again, and I would be reminded of like the world that they're forced to live in, and feeling like so powerless to fix it. I just wanted to fix it.
What are the assumptions that people have made about you as a pair?
Well, when we were young, people would say like to my mother, like, oh my gosh, like twins, and they thought I was a boy. My mom would say they're identical, and then people would be like, what's wrong with that one? Well, when we were younger, it was always like, do you share boyfriends? It's weird. You wouldn't say that to any other like sibling, but people like sexualize twins. You know, now we look different and we're looking more and more different. But I say that to say like people can still tell we look alike. So when they see us, they're like, oh, like identical twin sisters. You know, and that's rough. You know, I think people see Nola and they're like, that's the queer twin. And Nadine's like the straight twin. I had like experiences with women before Nola. I was privileged to explore that because cis bi women are celebrated. Because like if I made out with a girl at a party, you know, it would be like rewarded. Whereas like someone like Nola couldn't fully experience their sexuality free of judgment. I mean, I remember in 4th grade, this is before I grew my hair out, she cut her hair short. Nola had this really short, like, crew cut. They were getting teased about it. My mom would cut our hair in our kitchen. Like, I was like, well, I want my hair cut like Nola's. Like, the haircut you gave Nola, give me that haircut. And my mom's looking at me like, I know you don't want that. And my mom's like, okay. So she cut my hair. Since people felt me as so feminine, but I had short hair, they backed off of Nola. People were like, oh, I guess girls can have short hair. Right. Because Nadine is a capital G girl. When I got into high school, I tried like in earnest to like present in a feminine way. I wanted to like attract boys. The look was like Abercrombie polo shirts and like clogs and long hair. I like could not tolerate really being in my body. And it wasn't like I knew I'm gonna like get, you know, blackout drunk so that I don't feel my feelings and I don't feel uncomfortable. It was just, there were strategies, you know? And Nola was struggling with, you know, like self-medicating with drugs and alcohol and getting in tons of trouble. And they weren't talking about I want to dress this way and I can't. They were now in the phase of like, I've resigned. This is what I have to do. And so they shut down. This kind of period of time I'm mentioning is probably when we were like the most distant, because I don't think she knew what to do about it. And just feeling like so far away from them and knowing they were hurting so much, but like I couldn't reach them. I started, getting more involved in my art classes in high school and connected with somebody who, like became a mentor to me. Nola had some really amazing art teachers in high school. And who really allowed Nola to be themselves. And then Nola was like able to drop some of their like femme presenting, like they still had long hair, but they put it in a ponytail and they'd wear glasses and they'd wear just jeans and a t-shirt. I went through things that I went through and she went through things that she went through. In a lot of ways, she didn't have an easy time growing up either, even though she didn't struggle with like gender dysphoria. Always my body was like this thing that had to be fixed. I'm in this body right now, but it's like it's on its way to being less. When I was around 11, I started restricting food. That started a cycle that lasted until last year. Not eat everything. Spiral into shame, try to fix it, repeat. And I wonder too how much of it was like, I already don't feel comfortable in my body because I'm so close to Nola, who's not allowed to be comfortable in theirs. So were those feelings of discomfort things I was trying to fix with eating, not eating?
Like what eventually led you to kind of like have like the self-discovery?
I was in college and I had been dating a very sweet person for like 5-6 years. I was identifying as a straight girl. And I was like constantly like, something's wrong, I gotta figure out why don't I feel good, I gotta fix a relationship, he's like the problem. I remember once like he said, my chest looked really good. And I remember just like flipping out and just being like, don't fucking say that. I didn't want that part of my body to be like seen or like sexualized in that way. And then I just met someone that I was like super attracted to and she was a girl. Yeah, it freed me up, I think, because like if I wasn't straight, then I also kind of didn't have to uphold this like gender presentation. My chest has been, it's been really difficult for me. When I started binding like 5 years ago, I had thought about starting like, hormone replacement therapy and just like thinking about testosterone for a while, and I'd constantly been kind of trying to convince myself not to do it. It just popped into my head like, who are you doing this for? Like, who are you arguing with? Like, against this thing that like some part of you is feeling compelled to do? I don't have to accept or love every part of my body in order to take care of it and to be loving towards it. I think that like my whole life I was waiting to like, when am I just gonna like radically accept my body? And once I do, I'll definitely be able to be healthy. And then it just became really clear that like, I actually think it has to go the other way. Like I think the action's gonna inform the loving thoughts. And like, I think that like, if I treat my body like I love it, like I might actually start to love it. Maybe seeing Nola kind of own their identity and their power has allowed me to heal. I'm on a low dose of testosterone and that's been helpful for me because it makes me feel kind of more myself. I think I'm a little bigger, my arms puffed up a little bit. I'm a little hairier. Like, I don't know where we were, some restroom that had a mirror and 2 sinks next to each other. She was like, she's like, this like reminds me of like when we were kids, like, and we looked so different. She's like, I'm starting to feel that again. Like it feels right for me in relationship to her to be physically different. Our physicality is changing so much. The shape of our bodies are different, our voices are different. And I thought it would feel like a loss of self to watch them go, but they're not, like they're becoming.
What is culminating on Friday?
Oh, I'm getting top surgery on Friday. Like the closer it was getting, the more present my feelings around like how difficult it's been to live in a body that hasn't felt aligned. And they were like, it feels, like it is an elective surgery. I'm like, no, it's not. Like, you can't just live with a part of your body that you don't want, that is so deeply triggering to have, that you have to wrap in like a constricting binder. That's not a choice. Watching them lift this like lifetime veil over this thing that they felt so much shame about has inspired me to just live in my authentic self. And it feels freeing to be able to talk about depression, eating disorder, addictions, compulsive behaviors. Like, those used to be secrets that I kept and that like no one ever could find out that I struggled with. But I think bringing the darkness up is so healing.
What's your biggest fear?
Death. Being a twin, like mortality. I mean, it's like I can look at Nola and feel this like rush of intense love. And then the next beat is like, what would I ever do without them?
So last question. Why in your body, in your journey, in your skin, why is it a good place to be?
I'm like, do I believe that? I believe that, actually. I believe that now. I do. It's a good place to be because I'm not hurting it so much anymore. I mean, I think that like the ability to be in my body allows me to like show up for other people. It's like, yes, like I'm doing these things, getting this surgery. It's for me. It's not for somebody else. But it's like, why am I doing this? Because I want to feel more at ease. Like, if I'm not in my body, I can't do anything for anybody else. I can't be anything to anybody else. When you start treating your body as if you love it, you are rewarded with a body that will support you. Yeah.
Amazing. So beautiful. Thank you. Like, that was absolutely so much.
Yeah.
That was really beautiful.
Thank you. All right.
Oh my God, beyond.
I'm Lily,
And I'm Elisa.
and we're the mother-daughter co-founders of StyleLikeU. Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of the What's Underneath project, brought to you by Lunette.
Lunette is a menstrual cup company that's been around since 2005, busting the shame around periods.
You can wear a Lunette menstrual cup for up to 12 hours at a time, and it's a completely reusable, zero-waste option for your period care. Similar to StyleLikeU, Lunette believes in radical honesty as a path towards releasing shame around everything that holds us back, including our periods.
We are incredibly grateful to Lunette for supporting us in bringing this new season of What's Underneath to life.
If you agree that facades separate us and being radically honest brings us together, help spread the movement for self-acceptance by sharing this episode and subscribing to our YouTube channel.
And don't forget to click the bell so you're aware of every time we drop a new episode.